I feel like I have my mother's attitude when it comes to certain stuff. Like, she was nice. She was really nice and everything like that. But if you crossed her the wrong way, she'll tell you where to go, how to get there. Got a t-shirt, ain't going back, but you could stay there. You know what I'm saying? Mustard on the beat, hope.
They not like us. 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 Are you my friend?
Are we locked in?
Now step this way. Step this way. Step this way. Now step this way. Dun, 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 dun.
We gotta stop this.
Why?
We got a show to do.
Dun, 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 dun.
Bae,
Hmm?
are we locked in?
Yeah.
Are we ready to begin?
Yeah. Now step this way. Step.
Okay. We gotta stop this.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Marquis.
And this is your one and only your favorite Taylor.
And welcome back to another episode of You Stuck With Me podcast.
You stuck with me.
So we locked in? We good?
We locked in.
Now step this way. Step.
Wait, are you my friend?
Yes. Are we locked in?
Yes. Du, 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 du.
So in this episode, y'all, we talking about something that's near and dear to us. We're talking about parents.
Not just parents, but generations before us.
Yep. And we talk about, we're going to speak about how as adults now, growing up, and even till today, we always said that we were different from our parents. But in a lot of ways, we're not.
Or how we try not to be like our parents.
Or how we grew up saying, I'm not going to be like this, like my parents when I grow up. Yes, you are.
Well, not necessarily.
To an extent.
That's debatable.
I'll take that. I'll take it. So what brought this on was an episode of
It was two things.
Two things that brought it on. An episode of the Miss Pat show, which...
Spoiler alert, if you have not watched the latest season of Miss Pat show, I would suggest, if you really want to watch it, don't listen to this episode right now.
Yeah, because it's going to be a lot.
Well, fast forward through this part.
There's going to be a lot of spoilers.
Yeah.
So in one episode, Pat and Denise's mother came back because she passed away.
Let me set.
Yeah.
I got this.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I forgot what episode number this is, but it is in season 4. So Denise is a hair stylist now.
Mm-hmm.
She works with a client. I think her name is Veronica. Veronica is a more of like a medium. She's a medium, right? And I forgot how they got into the conversation of Veronica lost her mother. And Veronica was talking about how much she missed her, woo-wop, the bam. Then, of course, Denise says, we just lost our mom a couple months ago, too. Pat comes in. She was like, if y'all haven't watched Miss Pat, it could be a little raunchy, but,
They're definitely good with the message.
They definitely good with the messages. So she was like, I hate her. I didn't like her. Calling her all bees, whatever. So Veronica told her like, hey, you need to start focusing on, what she did. Folks stop focusing on trying not to be like her and focus on what she and stop focusing on what she did to you, so you don't be like that, and focus on what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense. Miss Pat wasn't trying to hear that. So Veronica put like this little hex spell for their mother to come back.
But the thing about it was only Pat and Denise could see her.
Right.
Nobody else in the family could see her. So they were talking to their mother.
But on the outside, it looked like that it was nothing there. So it wasn't a hex spell. It was, she opened a portal for her mom to come in. For their mom to come in or whatever.
And their mom was actually trying to help Pat out because she was...
Well, technically the both of them in a sense.
Yeah, because she was trying to tell Pat to stop holding on to the cruel things that she did to her.
In a way.
And
she was still mean to her.
Yeah.
So, and to, not to tell the whole thing. So Miss Pat and her daughter Janelle had a misunderstanding, and you could see I forgot their mom's name, Mildred. You could see Mildred standing there with Pat telling her, "Oh, you should tell her this. You should do this like I did you," and all this stuff. And Miss Pat does that. She calls her out her name. She just like belittles her and stuff, not knowing that
she's trying not to be like her, but she ends up like her.
Well, not only knowing, not knowing that Janelle already was going through something.
Mm-hmm.
And so after that happened, Janelle went upstairs crying. Miss Pat's like, "I'm not like you," or whatever like that. And Mildred's like, so much for not being like me. Excuse me. So much for not being like me. And goes back into the portal and basically tell her, "Well, I see you.
I may see you.
I may see you in heaven, or I may see you in hell, basically. Or I see you again." And Miss Pat just breaks down. She was like, I hate her. And, that's the end of the episode. So that sparked a conversation between me and Marquis.
Mm-hmm.
I told Marquis, I said, "Look, I don't know, maybe it's because of this episode or what. My thing, I always say in some aspects, I don't want to be like my mom. I always joke and say I don't look like that lady or whatever like that, because that's just the humor that we had with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the lady used to joke with me, talking about I was adopted. That's just the type of sister humor we had. Don't judge us. That was just our way.
I mean, there's no need to explain it. That was between you and your mom.
Right.
Just has to get it.
Yeah. So she used to always say I didn't look like her. But anyway, I told Marquis, I said, "Bae, this reminds me of how I always said I didn't want to be like my mom when it comes to relationships."
Mm-hmm.
And you asked, how so? And I was like, not saying that she was like abused or anything like that, nothing traumatic or nothing like that. But it's like she would give into these relationships, but then would not try to work it out. Feel like they were deemed worthy of working out. Like she had this thing like, this is when she hit a certain age. She had this thing like, if you don't know what you want to do in 3 months with me, you out. Deuces. Or, I'm not going to put all her business out there because some of her ex-boyfriends I'm still close with. But, one situation, she found out something that hurt her, and, that person, her and that person were no speaking terms. And then also, there was a situation, one of her partners, he got really sick, and she stuck by him and stuff like that, and they didn't even get married. So it was like, just seeing her going through these relationships, not saying that they weren't wrong for how they did her, but in a sense, it created a bitterness. And I did not want to be bitter, for lack of better wording.
And we broke this conversation down. We were talking about this for about a good 10, 15 minutes, maybe a little long. So when you were telling me this, I told you that while you don't want to be like your mother in terms of relationships, you aren't, because like you said, your mother dated a few guys and it didn't work out for one reason or another. She never remarried, and that her marriage with your father, it only lasted 2 years. And I told you, you're different from your mother in a lot of ways in terms of relationships, because some things you do feel like if the situation ever comes to it, and, God forbid it, it does, you feel like some relationships are worth saving. And next month we'll be going into 2 years married. So with that being said, your marriage is already on track to be longer than your mother's. So you had nothing to worry about, because I feel like we're in a very good space right now. And like I said, I have no complaints. So you don't have to worry about me going anywhere. You don't have to worry about trying to end up like your mother, because you and your mother, while you two are related, you are two different women. And I'm pretty sure that the men that your mom dated are way different from the type of man I am. And I was telling you, like, you look at my family, I come from a good stock of men. You look at my grandfather, you look at my dad, You look at my uncle. They're good men. So they all had a heavy influence on me. So the fear that you have about relationships, while you're entitled to have that feeling, you don't have to worry about it. I'm telling you that. I told you that yesterday, and I'm telling you that now. You have nothing to stress over. Probably the only thing that you gotta worry about me is if I don't forget to put the toilet paper back on the roll.
Baby, that bitch annoying sometimes.
I know I'm guilty of it. But that's gonna be the least of your worries. And I told you this yesterday. You have different things to worry about because, one, the age of men at that time are different from the age of men now. While some men are not well put together and they don't know what they're looking for and they're just playing games, you just happen to have one who knows what he wants, one who's not playing games, one who wants to see you thrive, see you grow. And
that's not to say, excuse me, it's not to say that the man she was with, it was all them, because I like to see both sides. And that was another concern I had too. Like, I admit, and even though I've been to therapy and all that stuff, I feel like I have my mother's attitude when it comes to certain stuff. Like, she was nice, she was really nice and everything like that. But if you crossed her the wrong way, she'll tell you where to go, how to get there, got a t-shirt, ain't going back, but you could stay there. You know what I'm saying? And I also put my grandmother into this too. Like, my grandparents' marriage, my mom's mom, their marriage was an interesting dynamic. Like, every day I learned something new. And it wasn't the best, but it was like, they never got a divorce. She just left because she got tired of it. And, so that was that mindset of, well, we're not getting divorced or anything like that. Well, whatever. I'm just assuming. But, it was just seeing that bitterness of, like, holding on to this hurt that happened in the past relationships or people that did them wrong. I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? And I discussed this with you even before we got married. Like, hey, I need to go therapy because I'm not my best self.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to navigate, dealing with grieving. And also now the main two people I looked up to for, like, women advice when it comes to relationships and stuff like that, they're gone. So it's like, I just knew I didn't want to be like them in a case of attitudes and also holding on to the past in some instances. And I remember when we did what was the show? Wine and Grow.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned that I grew up in an environment where I saw what it was like to be a strong Black woman. Now, that's not to say that's a bad thing, but some aspects of it, that was a lot. That taught me that I always had to be the strong one. And I always had to have that mindset like, oh, let me prep myself in case this Negro decides he wants to act up or go cheat on me or whatever like that, like I have my own. Now, I'm not saying that's not a bad thing to have. You always want to protect yourself, or what we say, CYA, right? Mm-hmm. But it's hard to break that when you used to it being in an environment like that. You get what I'm saying? You used to be in an environment like that. Now I'm in a comfortable space. I'm in a relationship where I can be myself. I can be open. I can be vulnerable. I can be, help, cultivate this soft girl life that I want. I can be myself and not have to worry about stuff. But that's a hard habit to break. That's like a habit. It's hard to break.
So let me ask you this. Based on what you just said about your mother and your grandmother, do you feel like it was potentially a generational curse and right now you're in the midst of breaking that generational curse?
I wouldn't say it's a generational curse. I would just say it's a generational character trait.
So can you elaborate on that?
What I mean, a generational character trait. So, for example, like I said, I was taught to how to be independent and be strong and, being able to, get through situations.
Okay, and
on my own.
and to elaborate on something that you said about the women that your mom picked in your grandmother's relationship, and in comparison to you, the one thing that you did that they didn't do because they didn't have the opportunities and the things that they needed to do, you went to therapy to take care of yourself before we said I do, which I say till this day, I commend you for it. Them, however, they didn't have those tools. So I think one of the good things that you're doing to make sure that our relationship is always steady and always on the up and up, and I do it as well, is to make sure that we show up as our best selves, and if we don't feel like we're our best selves, we let the other know.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about too. I said I mean I'm still learning to give myself credit and give myself flowers, and also learn how to receive flowers when it's given to me. And I had to think about it too. My grandmother's time, it was in a situation of, oh, God got me, I could just pray it away and it be gone. My mom's time, she learned the same thing from her mom. But also therapy was there, but it's not like as prominent as it is in my time frame.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like each generation had their own lack of knowledge in that. Or it was taught as, oh, I'm not going to go to therapy because that means I'm crazy.
And as we've learned over the last couple of years, that's not necessarily true, because it's a stigma that was in the Black community that is being debunked now, because as you can see, you went to therapy. I've seen a therapist.
We've done therapy together.
Yeah, we've done therapy together. That I feel like we are the generation that is changing that narrative, because for the longest in our communities, it was pray it away, you'll be fine.
And that's not to say prayer doesn't
work. Sweep it under the rug.
And that's not to say prayer doesn't work. I want to clear that up before we go viral talking about,
prayer obviously does work.
Prayer works. But my concept of that is you got to help God help you. Mm-hmm. You can't just pray and don't put no work into it. What does it say? Prayer without works is dead. So I pray to God, like, help me navigate, help me, keep an open mind, and help me navigate through my marriage, because I never been married before. This is my first marriage. I'm not going to say I don't have. I do have examples of, women in my family I can go to, but the main ones that are necessary to me, they're not here. So it's like I got to navigate through this on my own, in a sense, but help me keep an open mind and help me remember that this whole thing is a learning process.
And here's something else. And I'm glad you said that, because not only is it a learning process, but we are in the position where we can teach older generations that the way that we as a Black community have been dealing with our traumas and our issues has been, for lack of better words, wrong. Because, and I see the look on your face, and I'm explaining to you.
I think wrong is a strong word for that.
Well, I'm explaining to you. So the reason why I say wrong is because, generations have told us, pray it away, or, don't talk about it, let's sweep it under the rug. And you see that with all the things that's happened to us, sweeping under the rug and not talking about it and praying away, it hasn't been positive for us. The praying has helped. Let's put that out there. Praying has helped, but we have yet to our older generations have yet to understand that you pray to God, and God gives you the things that you ask for to help you deal with whatever issues you're having. So if God puts you in a position to see a therapist, that's Him giving you the tools that you need to deal with the issues that you are having. Remember, prayer without works is dead. So you pray for it, but you don't put the work in. So you still stuck at, the same baseline that you started out with.
But I only say wrong is a strong word, because what works for them don't work for us. Now I would say I would substitute wrong and say it's not appropriate.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because then in our older generation time, praying did work for them. There were some people back then that just prayed and kept moving the way they did, and then something happened, because that happens. And then we can't really say, we can't be in a position to say that whatever somebody's parent taught them is wrong, because now you're talking about somebody's parenting skills. You get what I'm saying? Because sometimes I'm trying to figure out how to say it.
I think
you can't really judge nobody's parenting skills, because parents only do what they know or what they think will be beneficial for their child. But we can't speak too much about that because we don't have children of our own.
Obviously.
But we just speaking in terms of as being that child that's being raised by that older generation. So all in all, I say that sparked something in me, like, man. And it also made me realize too, like, I still deal with, not trying to be like my mom in some aspects, some traits. So between the relationships, between with the relationships and also the mindset of how to tackle on life, thank you, tackling on life, I say that hinders me a little bit, because now I'm so worried about not being like my mama. I'm overly doing it. And that's what happened in the episode with Miss Pat. She's overly trying to make sure that she wasn't like her mama, but she up here
doing the same thing her mom
doing the most,
yeah,
and making the situation worse, trying not to be like her mom.
And that brings me to something that I've been looking into. I just you just hear it every now and then. It's something I think when we have children further down the line, it was something that we'll discuss: overparenting. Which in Miss Pat's show, she was doing so much to try to keep from being like her mom that she ended up being her mom and overparenting her daughter.
But then also too, you gotta see it from her point of view. This is if she considered her good child. She getting ready to graduate high school. She going to college. She just doesn't want anything to derail her daughter from being successful. Because at the end of the day, we both can agree on that the goal here for her, and even my mom and grandmother, they wanted me to do better than them and take advantage of opportunities that they might not have. My grandmother, she did not have the opportunity to go to high school. I think she only had like an 8th grade education for real, or maybe even 6th or 7th grade. But she had to go out there and work out in the fields with her parents, and then she had in and odd jobs like as a waitress, as a maid, housekeeper, and stuff like that. That's not to say that she didn't do what she had to do, that she didn't make the money to provide for her family, but that required her to tell her kids and her grandkids that I don't ask for nothing for y'all. I'm not going to ask you to go to college, because college not for everybody, but you will bring me home a high school diploma. So, and all in all, in return, that became one of my foundations for life. Like, I have to have at least a decent education. I think you got more than. I superseded that. A master's degree, but
what I'm gonna go back to something that you said that I think I just had an epiphany. So earlier I said that our generation is the one that is going to therapy openly, is no longer a taboo subject, and I said that we both agree that prayer without works is dead. But to backtrack, maybe the reason at that time they didn't go to therapy, because like you said, they may not have had the tools that we do. So for them, prayer is the only thing that they had to work in their faith and work with.
And that's what I was saying. That's what I was trying to say when you said that was wrong. No, that was not wrong. That was just what's available to them. So like I said, wrong is a strong word for that. It also reminds me too, the other day we was talking to Peanut, and I came across this article that broke down the different generations. So I think we started with the baby boomers.
It was the generation before the silent generation.
No, it went through all the generations, but what we focused on was the baby boomers because that was our parents at the time. Some of our parents are baby boomers, and then
Gen
X, millennials,
Z,
and Gen Z,
and Gen Alpha.
and Gen Alpha. Which that I was like, I gotta stop reading this because Gen Alpha is our offspring. Yeah, they're the offspring of millennials. Yes, they are. And that's because when is that? I think they said 2025 or something like that.
2013 to 2025.
Something like that.
So, because for us, millennials start 1981 and through 1996.
Mm-hmm.
So, just to prepare us, the millennial generation, more to tailor it, no pun intended, to this podcast, to us, potential, when we go ahead and be parents.
Mm-hmm.
We have to also, with this information we have going to therapy, we also got to know how to check ourselves before we check our children.
Right. So I brought that up because it brought up some characteristics of each generation. Oh, thanks to Steve, he got the hook up here. Mm-hmm. So so Generation Z is the people born between 1995 and 2009, and Generation Alpha is the people born between 2010 and 2024. So yeah, Generation Alpha would be considered our offspring.
Mm-hmm.
So what I liked about the article that I discussed with y'all was it gave characteristics. Mm-hmm. And I found it interesting that with millennials, it describes us as that bridge. Like we are the last generation that, experienced that old ways, but also the start of like
the new age.
So it's like, it's not a surprise that some of this stuff that's going on now, the new stuff, we don't understand because we still got that.
We still got the connection to the old.
Oh, right.
See, and one of the things we brought up some stuff that we're used to as the millennial generation that neither Gen Z or Gen X are familiar with, and I'm gonna break it down. So we're really the last generation to know what it's like to go outside and come in when the street lights come on.
Mm-hmm.
We're the last generation to know what dial-up internet was like. We're the only generation between the two that knows what it's like to use a yellow page.
And then also you got to think about too, some of the historical moments that happened with us, they're now history to the younger generation. Like for example, September 11th, Y2K,
voting for the first black president.
Yeah.
That's all history.
Swine flu, all that.
Mad cow disease, all that stuff.
Ebola, all that.
Yeah, they don't know anything about it. We lived through it.
And they probably looking at us like, damn, y'all old.
And that's why I say that 30 is not old, which is something I want to tackle in a future episode because I say you're only as young as you feel. But
and I had to tell my little brother this. And you laugh because you was there.
Yeah.
I think he's 25. Mm-hmm. He's 25 now. He's getting ready to turn 26. Excuse me. I'm 31. That's a 5-year difference.
Mm-hmm.
He talking to me like I'm old. I said, look, Nello, because that's what he want to be called. I don't call him that. Like, you gonna stop talking to me like I'm old. Like I'm old as your older brother. We not that far apart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Quite honestly, you're the middle point between them. I just thought about it.
Huh?
You're the middle point between them. Like literally 5 years older than your younger brother, but 5 years younger than you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 5 years older than you. Yeah, 5 years older than you.
It's 5.
But 5 years younger than you're older.
Right. It's 5 and 5.
And this is why we're the bridge generation.
Exactly. But he gonna stop talking to me like I'm somebody. I'm like his cold-ass auntie or something like that.
But
got me riled up. Got my whatever this go. What we call it?
A call.
Got my sugars going up and stuff.
But it's
I ain't got COVID or nothing like that, y'all. It's just allergies.
Yeah, all these allergies mess up. But as dealing with therapy and things like that with our generation, we're the generation that I want to say that we pulled the curtains off, and now Gen Z is just running with it because they are more than just big on therapy and accepting therapy.
More technological savvy too, which I'm not mad at.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it either, because although we're the first generation to deal with social media, they just took the baton and ran with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that a lot of them they know how to work the internet to make themselves millionaires, which is the difference between us, because we know about social media, but we don't
catch it on now. Like we know the basis of it. We know the old school way. Like
and they just
the grassroots of it. It's like I
just built upon it.
And they just built upon it, which I'm not mad at.
I'm not mad at me.
But also it shows, like I said to y'all too, it shows us we got to give grace to each generation.
And we're slowly becoming like our parents in one way, and I'm gonna tell you that way.
Coming like my parents, I'm gonna be hip.
It's not that.
I know what you're saying.
Just like our parents thought that the stuff that we like was weird and they didn't understand it, we're transitioning to that generation now. We're looking at them like, it's weird, I don't understand it. You see what I'm saying? It in some ways history repeats itself, because I'm pretty sure like our grandparents were looking at our parents and they're saying, the stuff that you like is weird, I don't understand it. It never changes. It's ebb and flows. The things are different, but the concept still remains the same.
But then also too, another thing, that night when we was hanging out with my brother and stuff like that, my older brother realized that me and him, we're similar. And my younger brother, even though he's in the generation under us, since we found that out,
he's Gen Z.
He has an old spirit like us. So when you hang around him, you be like, oh, no. He's the youngest. He's the youngest, but he's used to hanging around his older people. And he's like me in a sense, because that's what happened with me. I was used to hanging around with the older generation. Like I caught some of their ways and sayings and stuff like that. So times repeat itself in a sense.
And like we said, we're the bridge generation.
Bridging the gap.
So I think this was a beautiful discussion.
Yeah, my sinuses flaring up and stuff like that, get me all riled up. What's wrong with you?
So I think this is definitely a great discussion. I think this, it gave us some things to meditate and think about the ways that we don't want to be like our parents, but in some ways we do want to be like our parents, because our parents definitely set a blueprint for us to get to where we are now, because we're both college educated. We both have, jobs, know how to maintain maintain a roof over our heads. They really just wanted to raise good people to, who know how to function in society.
No, you know what needs to go back to like our parents' time growing up? These prices on stuff, because stuff is high as hell. We need to go back to our grandparents' time when a carton of milk was like 50 cents or something like that. Or a loaf of bread was $1.50. Can we go back to that?
When gas was only $0.25 a gallon.
Baby. Let's go back to the time we was growing up. We'll go to the gas station. We'll go put the pump in our car. We go to the convenience store, get like a fudge round, an Arizona, come back, and the gas was under $20. Can't do that now. I mean, you could do that, but it'd be a gamble. You call back that thing like $8.
Like, point me to that when we find it.
Man.
But on that note, beautiful, you want to tell the people where they can find us?
You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You want to tell them the handles?
The handles, so you can find us for Facebook. You can find us, just type in You Stuck With Me page, You Stuck With Me podcast, and the page will pop up. For Instagram, it is You Stuck With Me _podcast. So USTUCKWITME _podcast. On YouTube, you can find us, just type in the podcast and type in the name, and all of our videos and stuff will pop up. You can email us, are you stuck at you stuck with me at gmail.com, but USTUCKWITME at gmail.com. I know you over here laughing at me. You get a kick out of it. It's okay. You can find me on my personal handle at mine on Twitter and Instagram, or Twitter that's now known as X at M1NE_1. That is M1NE_1.
You was really struggling with that.
I think it's because I did it out of order. I did it out of order.
Let me show you how it does. So we got what Marquis was trying to say is we got this new thing. Excuse me.
I didn't have to cough.
We got this new thing. So our sticky notes, we turn into Are You Stuck questions. So if you got a question you want us to answer for you, or, Or you want Steve to answer it too, because you know he part of the clan.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
I got some answers for y'all.
See, he got some answers for you too. So you could just email us at
youstuckwithme@gmail.com.
and we'll be able to answer those questions for you. And if you want to hit me up personally, you could hit me up on Instagram and the app formerly known on Twitter as Queen Points, PO1NTZ. Again, that's Queen Points, PO1NTZ. And if you want some more behind the scenes stuff and know about my pre-recording yarns, because now they're not secret no more.
You broke the record.
Shush. You can find it on. You can follow me on TikTok. That's Queen Points 22. Again, that's Queen Points 22. And also, I know we want to thank y'all for the support of the podcast on Apple and Spotify. But if you want to do me a favor, go ahead and check out the You Stuck With Me podcast playlist. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, and coming to YouTube. Just hit like, subscribe, and share that. And you get to relive some of your most favorite episodes and our karaoke moments as well.
And if you're on Apple, make sure you like, rate, review, subscribe, and share it to all your people.
And on YouTube.
Y'all been blowing up the YouTube.
We appreciate y'all.
So on that note, it's your boy Marquis.
And this is your one and only your favorite Taylor.
And we out, y'all.
Hey, come back.
You stuck with us.
You stuck.
Peace
You
out,
stuck with us.
Peace out, y'all.
Peace.
Later.
Holla.